A look at Bidenomics, inflation at street level. Might be interesting. Hello, this is ChartGPT today, and they came out with some inflation numbers last week, and a little bit hotter than normal. I thought I'd take a little bit more of a deep dive into it, maybe show you a couple of websites that can help you navigate these data points here. First off, let's take a look at what they announced. This is the core CPI, and it is ticking higher. It's getting up to 4%. There's rumors now that maybe the Fed will have to stay tighter for longer, but at the same time, employment data is starting to weaken a little bit. So it is what it is. Of course, with the election year coming, obviously the word that a lot of voters is inflation. There's a recent YouGov poll says that among those that heard something about what Bidenomics means, 50% says higher inflation. But what I wanted to do is kind of get into show you a little bit of website here. This is from the BLS, which put out the economic data, and it kind of gives you some a bit more breakdown in terms of what you can get in terms of the information relative to the CPI. Here's a the percentage change. Goes back to 2004. You can see it different particular items. Here's food at home, so you can see it spiked up close to 15%, and now it's back down. Electricity is a big one. Here you can see that in the blue line here, and you can play with this and kind of get different pieces of data. You also can take a look at the average price data on selected items. It's a little bit more friendly than the Federal Reserve site. They have very similar. You can see here that bread white pan per pound has gone from $1 to $2. It's almost doubled since 2004. So you can see these kinds of data. It's quite interesting. They have this in table view. You can actually look at the different table views. So it's a little bit more friendly to use in the Fed site. And there's other charts packages that they have on employment data, inflation prices, pay benefits. So that might be a useful link to look at. You put that in the reference link and the post link below the video here. You can follow that and find that website. But what we did do is kind of use the AI and kind of came up with our own chart. Now this red line on this particular chart is kind of a $1 average, and this shows you the increases during the Biden administration from 2022, 2023, and 2024. And you can see here food has gone up from $1 to $1.20. So for every dollar item you buy, it's now costing you $1.20. Gasoline is at $1.30 for every dollar of gasoline that you used to buy. Now it's $1.30. Apparel's a bit of a winner there, a little less than 10%. New vehicles close to 20%. Medical, a little bit of a breather there as well. Shelter's the big one. $1 spent before, now it's $1.20. Education is a little bit better in terms of the overall inflation rate. So it gives you a little bit of detail. Of course, we can juxtapose this against actual wages, and wages during that same period have increased to 16%. Now that's a median for those renters, for those on the lower or fixed income. Obviously you're on the bottom and you're a loser on that. So that's something you should be aware of. Here's a quick look at the rent of primary residence, and it's still hanging up there over 5%. It's much higher. So depending on where you sit in the economy, your socioeconomic class, et cetera, whether you own or rent, it's going to make a huge difference. Here's an interesting charts. When you look at inflation, they've changed the formula on these over the years, and these shadow stats, and again you can check out the reference link in the description box on the post link. Here's the SGS, which is their alternative based data. They've been around for quite a long time, and you can see here that at a 1980 base rate, the inflation would be, using that particular formula, would be sitting at about 12%, and the 1990 base we'd be sitting around, say, 8%. So, which kind of brings us to the question for the AI: what is the effect on inflation to these different socioeconomic classes? And you'll see that in fact it is hurting the retirees and poor people the most, and so that's basically a tax on the poor. And of course inflation, there's lots of reasons for it, but in any case you can just say it in one word, that's Bidenomics. So it is what it is there. Take our online poll. How accurate are these government inflation statistics anyway? Are they being manipulated too much, or was just to be able to understand how to read them? In any case, we have to watch this inflation as it starts to kick up a little bit here. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe.